So on to the start of the show. Thursday night football recap. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24.
We all picked the Chiefs to win, right?
We did.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this game? What was your main takeaway? Riv, I'll start with you.
For me, my main takeaway is this Chiefs defense has potential. I think this Chiefs defense is really young. Don't start smiling at me like that. This defense is really stingy. I think in the second half they made a good amount of adjustments and they really kicked in and they've started to make stops. You saw Chris Jones in the fourth quarter start to impose his will on that offensive line. In the first quarter, though, just to start off in the beginning, you saw the Chargers be conservative. They took some shots. 4th and 1, they got it going. Mike Williams took over the game in the first half. He just couldn't be stopped in one-on-one coverage. And you saw a lot of the young corners in Snead, Fenton. They're too aggressive. They bait too much, and Mike Williams took advantage of that. He's 6'4". There's not many guys that can stop him one-on-one no matter what. Corners are small, wide receivers are big. He's 6'4", just throw it to him. So I thought the Chargers in the first half, they played well, but it was like a tale of two halves. First half, the Chiefs didn't look well. They turned up in the second half. First half, Chargers looked great. Second half, they didn't look too well. That turnover, I know people like to say that was the turning point, but the Chargers had two 4-and-outs right before that turnover. So you saw the Chiefs starting to slowly get that pressure, slowly start to build that momentum, and then that touchdown by Mahomes kind of like uplifted, like, all right, that was really the momentum change. Like, all right, it's time to really get it going. And then you just see, like, I think most of us at the table think the Chargers are probably a top 2 team in the AFC, especially after last night. I think they're extremely complete. Their offensive line, Corey Lindsey, he went out. He didn't play the second half. That was huge for them. But I think they're complete on the offensive end. I think defensively, they're one of the best groups I've seen so far. But I just think when you have a guy like Mahomes on that other end, it really doesn't matter how good your team is because Mahomes is going to make it look good anyways. But I think watching this game, both teams look impressive. The Chargers look like they could make a run. The Chiefs look great. And this was a great game to start. I hope Herbert gets better. But these are the games that he has to win. This is the games where the Chargers, in order for them to get into the playoffs, fourth quarter, they have to finish it out. Third quarter, they have to complete. They have to be complete from 1-4, and they wasn't like that for the last game.
Chargers had opportunities. There was 2 badly missed interceptions that there was a bunch of conversation on Twitter that Mahomes is one of the only people that you look at and think that people really scrutinize his almost interceptions. I mean, that's not necessarily true. You said at this table, we talk about almost interceptions almost all the time. But let's be real. The Chargers needed to make those plays. I'm not going to say that, oh, man, they would have gotten the Chargers would have won. No. You need to make those plays. It's quite simple. Santi Samuel dropping that interception, and I'm blanking on the one that dropped the interception, but it really looked like a catch if you asked me. Do you know which one I'm talking about? The one that he caught it, kind of
the controversial one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they ended up scoring on that drive. You need to seize these opportunities if you're the Chargers when you're playing an elite team like the Kansas City Chiefs or a very experienced team in the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's the one where J.C. Jackson got beat, right?
No, well, that also.
See, that, like, that's why I don't think
that was that drive.
I don't think, like, I can't sit here because you paid this guy. Like, you brought him in. He's an all-pro corner. He got beat by a 4th stringer.
Missed game 1, and he did get beat by a 4th stringer.
Like, he's a 4th. He beat you with a simple. Like,
corner's hard though. Corner's a hard position. You could play great all game.
Yeah,
you miss one.
That
and that's
move
it.
was come here. Like, it was so smooth. It's
he was
like,
open.
Yeah, like he was open. Like, so it's like, that's tough.
And poor play calling on the Chargers end also on the interception. You had Gerald Everett, who was calling to be taken out of the game. They ran a no huddle, went to the line early, and they threw right at him again. He was gassed. He was not in a position to make a play on that. And then it ended up being a pick 6, which ended up changing the entire landscape for the Chargers.
7th-round pick.
And then you had a position where Justin Herbert gets absolutely laced. It came out that he has a fractured rib. He's day-to-day as of right now. Who knows how long he's going to be out for. This is one of the faces of the National Football League. It's really sad that he's not going to be playing week to week, but we'll see what happens. He played relatively well. I'm looking at that interception. I'm not thinking anything of it, truthfully. I think that's more so. Well, to a degree, I'm thinking little of it in terms of long term, but in that moment, in trying to win that game, Herbert needs to be conscious of what's going on in the field, needs to be conscious of his players. I gave a lot of pressure to Joe Burrow on this film analysis that we did last show where the defense is pressing him and they're about to blitz him. I want Joe Burrow to be aware of that and be conscious of what's going on in the field. I want Herbert to do the same. So, of course, there's slight blame that goes on him, but then once he's playing hurt, you really can't say too much. Chiefs played an excellent game. Mahomes, where he didn't look great in the first half, second half, he came out, made the plays where he needed to. He made an insane throw, scrambling to his right, pump fake, scored the touchdown to Jerick McKinnon. But overall, Another good win by the Chiefs, 2-0.
You are hurt.
What can you say?
You heard it
You're
bad.
hurt.
I would say that pick six was a pretty good play on the corner because when
Definitely.
you're watching it from Herbert's view,
I feel like he threw
Gerald
it right to the
Everett's-
corner.
Everett's just so big that you couldn't see the corner. The corner was behind him, and he kind of snuck, got on the inside, and picked it off. I thought this was just kind of the epitome of these two franchises, right? You see the Chargers all the time lose games they're supposed to win, and you see the Chiefs win games they probably should lose, or at least losing. I was watching the Herd earlier today. Mahomes, when he goes down by 10 or more points in the first quarter, wins 50% of his games. The league average like 15%. This is just what the Chiefs, and especially since Mahomes has taken over, dude, they shouldn't win these games. They shouldn't be in these games. Like, some of these should be blown out. Like, that's insane. You go down by 2 possessions, and it's game over.
It's
That's
literally
all
like
it
you go up
is.
10 and you have a 50% chance to lose this game.
And still, Mahomes could find a way. Just that shows his greatness. Andy Reid doesn't fold under pressure. You know, he's one of the best play callers. We know this already. And the Chargers, I don't want to read too much into it, right? Because you're going up against the division champs, right? A team that we're expecting to be competitive in the AFC, potentially go to, you know, the Super Bowl, and you have Corey Linsley get hurt, like you mentioned, Keenan Allen not play the entire game, Justin Herbert get hurt in that fourth quarter. So if you're a Chargers fan, yeah, you had opportunities, right? There was multiple times you could have had interceptions. Just there was a penalty that could have gone either way. You had a couple interceptions that could have gone either way, but that's just kind of what this Chargers franchise has been over the last few years, where all of these 50-50 balls seem to not go their way. And I do think that with Justin Herbert, how great he is, eventually it will start going the Chargers' way. But when you're playing against the Chiefs, you really have to seize these opportunities. Now, I did think they would split. I did pick the Chiefs, so the Chargers still have a chance to split on the year. Obviously, this is not the end of their season or anything like that. You just got to hope Justin Herbert's healthy for next week. I'm not sure who they're playing off the top of my head, but with the injuries they had, the missed opportunity, 50-50 balls, you never feel good after a loss, but it's not like you got smoked. You didn't get 30 clipped. It wasn't a terrible beating or anything. So I think the Chargers will be fine.
And it was on the road.
And they were on the road. And the Chiefs, if you're a Chiefs fan, you beat the Cardinals down, who defense isn't good, but they got Kyler. He's a top 10 quarterback. And now you just beat the Chargers, who everyone was talking. I picked them to win this division, saying they're going to win the division. Now you're 2-0, so you're off to a great start.
I think
for
Mahomes
KC.
is like 22-3 against his division.
Yeah,
Some
insane.
number like that. Like
Dominated the Broncos.
Yeah, he hasn't lost.
He's 8-0 against us.
8, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Embiid has never lost to the Bulls in the NBA. He's never lost to
So
the Bulls.
why
Really?
would you say that? Like, that's not something that I'd
crazy.
be bragging about.
No, I'm not bragging. I'm just showing the.
Oh, so how our teams are down bad?
Yeah,
Got it.
Correlation.
yeah. We've never beat Embiid, so I get it. Trust me, I get you.
We are going to be giving away NBA 2K23 Legendary Editions to a couple of you guys, and all you have to do is sign up for Boom Fantasy, deposit $10, which is you're putting in $10 to get a $150 game. On top of that, you play Boom, you can double your money with your deposit. So you can make money
40 times with long
40
shots?
So if you want to join in the giveaway, then sign up for Boom. The link is in our bio.
But ensure that you guys make that $10 deposit. That's the only way that you gain entrance into this raffle.
And based on who wins, you guys tell us what version you want, the Legendary one, Dreamers Edition, which console, or you want it for PC. You know, it's up to you. But I think that's a great deal.
Maybe we'll go on live on TikTok
that'd
for
be
the first
fantastic.
time.
And NBA 2K23, I heard it's
great.
I heard it's looking great.
Riv, confirm, deny?
Fire.
That's tough.
Just make sure you use our link, because if you don't use our link, we don't know.
Saying
That's
that
where you're coming from.
this
You're coming
has
from
happened to the
picking
Chargers
sides.
in the last couple of
Link
years.
description
Generous.
or the
This
bio.
has been their franchise history. They're a bad luck franchise. It is what it is. The Chargers have bad luck. Before I get on to the game, I thought that Amazon Prime did an amazing job in terms of the broadcast. The crew that they have in the pre-game show, Fitzpatrick, Richard
they were
Sherman, Tony Gonzalez, like they have a stacked all-star roster. And then also the broadcast, the next-gen stream where they have the stats and all 22 angle. I feel like football fans have been asking for this for a while, and Amazon killed it. And, you know,
That's $1 billion
for the next,
they put in there.
they paid at the NFL $1.2 billion a year to stream 15
better be
games.
fire.
So,
Wait, there's 50. Are they all exclusive on Amazon, those 15?
yeah.
Damn.
Do you need Amazon, bro?
I have Amazon.
Oh,
now. I'm good.
Yeah, I have Amazon Prime. Who doesn't have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
There is some people who were literally on Twitter talking about, where can I can't watch the game. I don't have Amazon. It's like, damn, bro.
It's only $5 a month, man.
Yeah.
And you get Prime out of it.
Yeah. And
Listen,
you get the free 2-day,
2-day delivery.
delivery.
Listen,
yeah.
I got it.
It's
I'm-
such a
I
steal.
feel like I've had Prime before any other streaming service.
The
Nah,
Chargers
Netflix.
dominated the
'Cause
first
2-day
half.
shipping.
Yeah.
Before they were even a streaming service, I feel like I had them. You know what I mean?
That is true. Good point.
The Chargers dominated the first half defensively. I thought their defense came out to play. Derwin James is phenomenal. Their defensive line, it goes to show the improvements they made on it this offseason with Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and then having Sebastian Joseph Day there. Their defensive line gets after it. I feel like it was a tale of two halves. In the first half, you have the Chargers dominating defensively. The only reason the Chiefs scored was because they called a defensive pass interference on Bryce Callahan, which it was a 50-50 play. You could argue it wasn't defensive pass interference on Callahan. If it wasn't for that, the Chiefs probably get shut out in the first half. Mike Williams dominated the first half. He came out in the first quarter. He had like already 80 yards in the first quarter. But the second half, the Chargers offense was a bit sluggish. They honed in on Mike Williams a bit more. And the Chiefs had these little breaks go their way, you know. Players dropping interceptions. The very next play, you hit Justin Watson on a 41-yard touchdown pass. Yes, he beat J.C. Jackson on that. I'm not going to overreact to that play. I think it's just a good play by Justin Watson. This is a guy who Patrick Mahomes has been talking about. Like, he has a lot of chemistry with Justin Watson. It's not always these high-profile players that make big-time plays, and this guy, Justin Watson, just made a big-time play. I think the Chargers lost because of the pick six. It's as simple as that. 24-17, you're in the red zone, and Herbert throws a ball that he thought Everett was going to give more of an effort on. But Everett was gassed. He was tired. He was begging to be out the game, and the fact that nobody noticed it on the sideline, I think, is a bad coaching error.
I agree.
I feel like Brandon Staley's supposed to take charge in that moment and call a timeout and get Gerald Everett out the game. And that play ultimately cost them the game because then it was a pick six. Jalen Watson took it to the house. And then after Herbert gets hurt, you could tell he wasn't the same, even though he threw a dart on fourth down that got the Chargers in the red zone.
I'm not even exaggerating. That's one of the greatest throws I've ever seen in my life.
Justin Herbert is unbelievable. And I've been saying this for a while. I think Joe Lombardi's play calling is frustrating. And I've been saying this since last year. You look at the Chargers offense last year, yeah, their numbers look good. They're efficient. They were top 3 in yards per drive. But Joe Lombardi doesn't take shots with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is somebody who can put the ball in places that very few quarterbacks can put it. He can throw it as deep as any quarterback in the NFL, yet he has one of the lowest depth of targets among all quarterbacks. I think he was 36 amongst 42 qualifying quarterbacks, so he's close to dead last, and I just don't understand. I understand part of it is a personnel issue because Mike Williams, yes, he's a jump ball receiver, but he's not a burner. Keenan Allen is a route runner. He's a possession receiver. And then who else? Josh Palmer. He's not taking the top off the defense. Neither is DeAndre Carter. He just got there. Jalen Guyen. They're not doing that. I feel like the Chargers offense lacks speed. They need somebody that can take the top off the defense and at least make you account for a vertical threat. Like with the Chiefs, yes, they lost Tyreek Hill, but you still have McCole Hardman. You still have MVS. So you can take shots. You can be aggressive. You can have these players go down the field because they're very fast. With the Chargers, they don't have those type of threats. That's why in the draft, I would have been a big advocate of them drafting a receiver like Jamison Williams or Chris Olave. I know that they were picked ahead of where they picked and they selected Zion Johnson eventually, but that's what I feel like this offense lacks. And also the offensive line, it's good. It's not an elite level unit. I think Justin Herbert masks a lot of the deficiencies within the offensive line because he gets the ball out quick. He doesn't take sacks, so it makes the offensive line look better. But there are deficiencies. Justin Herbert just makes it look better than it actually is. But that's the concern I have with them moving forward. I think their defense this year is elite enough to keep up with any team in the NFL. It's just about winning those tough, grinded-out games, and the Chargers have yet to really figure out how to win those games. But that's their next step as a team. But like you said, this was a game on the road. We all picked the Chiefs. We didn't think the Chargers were going to come in here and win. We thought they were going to make it a competitive game, which they did. So now it's about taking care of business at home and just keep on winning these other stretch of games they have. But I'm still high on the Chargers, and the Chiefs' front seven continues to impress. I mean, George Karlaftis looks like a veteran out there. Chris Jones can single-handedly dominate a game. Frank Clark had some showings. Nick Bolton is on a path to being an all-pro linebacker in this league. Like, the Chiefs have a lot of great young talent, and that's a credit to their front office because they draft very well.
Shout out to my boy Asante Samuel Jr., man.
He played well yesterday.
Played amazing, man.
He did.
Oh my God. That's my boy. I'm sorry, I'm losing.
It's all right. He kind of folded, though.
You can't say you folded if you make a great play.
Nah, you need to make that, especially in the end zone.
Hey, listen, man. Year 2, he's not his dad. Listen, relax.
Asante Samuel also dropped interceptions.
He's gonna get there. It's year 2.
He is.
Let him get his feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Once he gets his feet wet, quarterback's job is to make plays.
I'm with you. Another thing that I have to give credit where credit is due. Joel's guy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he showed out yesterday. One thing I didn't like, but Joel made a fair point to me when we were on our way here, that I didn't like how when he was running with the ball, he was too mindful of not fumbling. But, of course, last season where he ended up getting a lot of shit, honestly, was because one of those plays, Baltimore, he just popped the ball right out and he fumbled. He was trying not to fumble, but I want you, if I'm Clyde Edwards-Helaire, break away. You had daylight. Put the ball in your right arm and run as fast as you can. Other than that, he's looked very explosive. These 2 weeks early on, he already has 2 touchdowns. He's looked good on the ground. He's looked good in the pass. He's breaking a ton of tackles. Got to give credit where credit is due. I've been very harsh on Clyde up until this point in his career. It's time to acknowledge.
Yeah, he looked really solid. I think another thing, too, Mahomes mentioned after the game, through 2 weeks, I mean, no one else has played week 2, I guess, but I know we were talking about, is it going to be Khalil Mack and Bosa versus Crosby and
Chandler
Jones? I mean, bro, that Chargers pass rush is elite. Mahomes said their plan going into the game was everything quick that first half because they know those boys were coming. And, I mean,
Khalil Mack different.
They struggled. They struggled that first half, right? They didn't score any. I don't remember how many they scored.
They only scored a
touchdown.
Yeah, they scored 7.
And then the second half.
It
was 10-7.
10-7 going
But that was off that drive. They scored off that drive, but that was a drive where Bryce Callahan got called for the DPI.
Right.
Now, Mack different.
Yeah, on the interception.
Mack.
Let me ask you.
Bosa different too, but Mack, he's.
It's early.
Bosa's better than Mack.
Probably is.
I don't know. Mack looks really good.
Nah, he is, but I think Bosa's better.
There's nothing wrong with it. They both elite.
Yeah.
They're both elite.
Healthy Khalil Mack.
Would Mack have 3 sacks week 1?
It's hard not to go Mack, but I know where you're coming from.
Left tackles are better in the NFL than right tackles. Joey Bosa.
And as a run stopper, too, Khalil Mack is elite.
No, he is.